Hey guys, Jeff here. I want to talk to you today about why some movements see bigger improvements than others, or why you might be stagnant on something versus seeing some huge numbers on other things. Now, first I want to explain percentages. Now, best example of this is upper body movements. So things like pressing, overhead pressing and bench pressing. They are actually a lot harder to see improvements than the lower body movements. This is because they are more concentrated, the muscles themselves are smaller, and you have a smaller baseline typically. What I mean by that is, if we look at some of my numbers here, my bench press is, we'll just say BP equals about 240. It's probably higher, but I haven't tested it in a while. My strict press equals about 175. My deadlift is 405, and my back squat is, we'll just say 315, okay? Now, we have our baseline measurements or numbers here. To see drastic improvements, well, we always are seeing improvements. We're seeing improvements in multiple ways, okay? You might be seeing improvements in stamina and endurance. You might be seeing improvements based on physiological improvements, muscle imbalances, things like that. You might even be seeing improvements in just overall body composition. But all these things play a factor, okay? And now, sometimes I see people get discouraged because they might not have had an impressive or even a significant jump in a benchmark. Okay, there's a couple factors on that too. Sometimes it's just psychological. When you come in, you're not prepared. You're not psyched up or jazzed up enough for that testing. You could also not have enough muscle recruitment, or might have fatigued out too fast. So you could have not warmed up enough, or also warmed up too much, which is also common. Other factors though, just a lot have to do with stimulus and stuff. So based on how you're feeling that day is a major factor. Okay, so music, environment, stress levels, what you ate, or any supplements you might have taken. So all these things play a factor. Now, going off of that though, improvements in these movements, especially the pressing, is a lot of technique based. So when you get better or stronger in the technique base of bench press or back or shoulder press, you will see improvements. But let's look at these numbers here. If I'm doing my back squat here, okay, if I see again, because this is a lower body movement, I usually have about a 10 to 15, sometimes 30-pound improvement at times. Other times, I'm staying about the same. But typically, based on my phase, I go 8 to 12 week phases and then retest. We have you guys doing it about 6 to 12 weeks, okay? Now, what most people see here is about 15 pounds, right? So if we saw a 15-pound improvement here, you're gonna think that number is huge, but really in reality to what you're already currently doing, that's only it's a 5% improvement, okay? So that's significant, that's good. And if we see a 5% improvement over a 8-week phase or eight phases of a training cycle, that means you're gonna have about, I mean, you continue to see that progress, but over about a year course, you might gain about 40 to 50 pounds, okay? Now, if we look at our standing press, okay, if I only see 5 to 7 pounds, that equals to, again, 5%, or about 5%. So women especially, if you have a normal baseline of maybe 80 pounds, is your bench press to start, and you jump up to 85 pounds, that's significant. That's actually about 6.5% improvement, okay? So that is great. Now, the number might not be as big as the lower body, where you're seeing 10, 15 pounds increase, but you're seeing a percentage-based increase that is significant or even. Now, again, also, with the bench press and strict press, you're going to have to really focus on that and come in excited and energized and get that muscle stimulated, because you are working a lower muscle recruited movement, okay? So by doing that, you'll see bigger improvements. But again, if you're staying about the same or seeing even small numbers, put it into perspective. Because again, if I'm at 100 pounds on a movement and I see just 3 pounds, that's 3% improvement. So again, over 8 cycles of this, that's gonna be a significant improvement from start to finish. So don't get discouraged because you don't see a drastic result based or poundage phase to phase. Focus on making sure that you're improving your technique and your form. You're also feeling the recruitment and getting the movements correctly. And then also take into account the percentages of that breakdown, all right? By doing that, you'll see that you guys actually have a significant improvement of strength and also technique and skill.